Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Xeracon and I am back once again. E3 has come and gone, and it's been iffy, I guess I should say. There were definitely a lot of horrible shows. Ubisoft's show was bad. Square show was just barely better than Ubisoft, which is which is which is not saying a whole lot. The PC gaming show, that was complete and utter trash. Like there was no saving that show at all. And where was Sega supposed to be? Like Sega was supposed to show up, but what were they doing? Twiddling their thumbs in the background? Now don't get me wrong, there was definitely some good stuff there, but as a whole, it was a very lackluster E3. But here are some things that I did see that definitely interested me, and I am really looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. And as a disclaimer, or really just to set, I guess, a bit of guidelines, these are games that I'm going to talk about that weren't talked about before, so I'm not going to talk about like Halo, even though Halo looks good. I'm not going to talk about games. I'm going to talk about games that were completely new, or at least completely new to me. So that's primarily what I'm going to be focusing on is our new games that were announced and what happens with them in the future. So the first game that actually caught my attention was Salt and Sacrifice, and this is a sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, which is a very good game, and I recommend it if you are a fan of Metroidvania games, if you're a fan of Souls games. This is a game that I recommend. And I was interested in seeing if there was going to be a sequel, and lo and behold, here we have one. It definitely seems like it's going to be promising. It's the only thing that I hope it doesn't have, and I'm guessing that this is just for the trailer, is that it doesn't have any voice acting. Like, I think that having the text, just having the text in the first game was good enough. So I'm hoping that they continue with that in this game. The next news that was pleasing to me was also another Souls-like, and this one was Mortal Shell, the Virtuous Cycle DLC. I haven't played Mortal Shell, but I am looking forward to its PC release this summer, and I've heard a lot of good things about this game, so this DLC will hopefully be an improvement upon that game. And actually, on that note, this is something that again is something that was I thought was it's a continuing trend, and it's not going to improve. But I just really just want to talk about the skin. Showing CGI trailers, just showing teaser title names without showing any of the actual footage and gameplay is it's ridiculous. It's something that we shouldn't have to deal with. Like, we're here to see games, so stop showing us just CGI. Show us the actual game. But the true meat and potatoes of Friday was Elden Ring. Like, when that game was announced, I was so hyped. I was so excited to see it. It doesn't look like it's going to be a next. It doesn't look like a next gen game, but it does still look like it's going to be a good game. It looks like it's going to be so much fun to play, and it's doing something new. I mean, we have the horse riding now, which is completely unique to a Souls game, and that's the thing about From Software. They normally have the same type of formula, but they do certain things to shake things up or to try something new and different. You've seen that sort of with going from Demon Souls to Dark Souls. You've seen that with Bloodborne. You've seen that with Sekiro. And heck, even with Dark Souls 3, it still sort of borrowed some elements of Bloodborne into its gameplay in as compared to like Dark Souls 1 and 2. Like Dark Souls 3 does have a different feel. But I am definitely looking forward to this game coming up in the future. Phantom Abyss was a very interesting game. I mean, it's something that is just something that is so unique and different that it appeals to me. Like, not every unique and different game appeals to me. That's something I definitely want to say. But it does seem interesting enough that I like the concept just by going around in a labyrinth, going to find a certain treasure, but then also sort of competing against other players. And then the way actually the players who played the level and failed, you going up against them because they interact with the world even though they failed and they're like ghosts, but you interact with them at the same time, which is interesting. And I think it really introduces a very unique way of playing. I don't even know how to like categorize this. It's an adventure game, but it's just something that's very unique, and I like it. It looks interesting, and I'm very interested in seeing what happens with it in the future. Another interesting game is Wizard with a Gun. Like, that was a game that was announced that I think looks very unique and interesting, especially with the multiplayer aspect. And I mean, even just the title "Wizard with a Gun," like you don't think about like something like that ever, but it does seem like it's going to be a fun and unique experience. Trek to Yomi, that now that just definitely caught my attention, just because it looks like a 2D Ghost of Tsushima, and I am really looking forward to trying out Ghost of Tsushima if it gets ported to PC. Crossing my fingers, come on Sony, give us that PC port. But Trek to Yomi definitely has such a beautiful aesthetic and such a classic feel, but I like Japanese or feudal Japanese games or Japanese games based on Japanese mythology. Like those types of games are interesting. Like I like that. So seeing this game here is definitely interesting to me, and I'm looking forward to this. Now, when Xbox showed their shows, like I said, they had some good they've showed some good stuff, and there are games that were, like I said, announced before that I'm interested in, like Halo, but they did show some games that just really looked nice. The first one was Replaced. Like that, it looks very beautiful to me. I think I like the fact that it is a sort of, man, I don't want to say cyberpunk, but it's just that futuristic 2D platform game. And the thing about the game is that yes, we have a lot of like the market is oversaturated with 2D pixel art games. So this one still looks like it is unique. Like the animation looks fluid enough that it looks like it's going to definitely have some good combat. And then Microsoft showed the Eiyuden Chronicle games, 100 Heroes and Rising. And those games look so good. And I have heard that this game actually was a Kickstarter game, but still, this was the first time I've ever actually heard about it. But it just looks so beautiful. It looks like Octopath Traveler, like with that whole 2D sprite, but still like HD. So you having that 3D environment, but using 2D sprites. And Dragon Quest 3 remake is going to be doing that, and I love this aesthetic because it's really reinventing the 2D sprite game designs that we know, and I think that's a very wonderful thing. But still, I think that even like with the gameplay combat, like having people fighting from a distance and taking part in battles, like I think that looks really nice. So I'm really interested in seeing these games. Solstice was another game that was announced, and I'm not certain how it's categorized. Like some people said that it's a Souls-like, but it looked sort of to me like it was more dark fantasy RPG. So I'm not certain yet, so I'll have to like get more details. But it definitely seems like it would be a fun game to play, and I am looking forward to giving that a try. I like fantasy games, like fantasy RPGs, so this is definitely up my alley. Now, I know what you're waiting for. You're all wanting to hear about how entranced I was, how captivated I was, how delighted I was to see Metroid return. But not just Metroid. No, we're getting Metroid Dread. Resurrected from the dead over 10 years later. And it's coming out this year. That was so beautiful. There are a few things that I'm kind of iffy with. Like, when Samus Returns came out, I wasn't a fan of the counter ability. Free aim, that was also something that I didn't necessarily like, but I do appreciate the fact that now you actually can move and use the free aim at the same time, which is a whole lot better than just standing there and having to free aim that way. I am hoping that it is 60 frames per second because playing Samus Returns with 30 frames per second, I didn't like that part of it at all, and it definitely felt a whole lot slower, which is completely weird. When you're playing other games like Fusion, when you're playing Zero Mission, especially Zero Mission. Oh my goodness, and that's another reason why I will prefer AM2R over Samus Returns, because it does have that very fluid gameplay. But I will, also admit that, Nintendo did a solid by having this game released for the 35th anniversary of the Metroid series. They didn't do anything for the 25th anniversary of Metroid. And for the 30th anniversary, they made Federation Force. So we're getting a good game, hopefully, of solid quality of Metroid for an anniversary. And you can bet that I am getting the special edition and the 2 amiibo pack. You can bet that, one way or another. Even if I have to go to eBay, I'm getting those. And then the last thing that I sort of liked was seeing Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Black Lake, Maiden of the Black Water. I can't remember what it was, but seeing that get a re-release. I played a little bit of the Wii version, or at least like the demo on the Wii U, and it definitely was interesting. I mean, I wasn't going to pay $50 for just the digital version at that time, but it definitely seemed like it had promise, and I do like the fact that it's getting not only re-released, but it is getting a multi-platform release. So like everyone can enjoy this game now, which is great, and I love that. But those were the games that I looked at and I thought were great and I'm looking forward to. Let me know what you thought about E3. What games did you look forward to? What games did you like? What games were a surprise to you? And let me know if you which showcase was your favorite. So until next time, everyone, I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one.